All right, what's going on, everybody? All right, what's going on, everybody? I wanted to talk about uh 27.11 CFR. And I hear this, regurgitated all on the internet. So it's one of the reasons why I'm addressing this. I'm not addressing it to go at people or to make anybody, to insult people. But I want to talk about 27.11 CFR because a lot of people uh, they read certain aspects of this and they think, okay, this proves that all crimes are commercial. So then when I did a video, people do not understand why I did a video and not just going over CFR 27.11 CFR. Okay. So if you understand 27.11 CFR, it does break down the definitions of what are commercial crimes. So if you understand what I'm going into, people will say, well, yeah, 27.11 says all crimes are commercial. And it does and it doesn't. Okay. So I'm trying to get into the right. There we go. Okay. It says, now when I did my video, people are like, well, 27.11 CFR says that. No, it doesn't. Okay. In 27.11 CFR, you have to read into it more. So if you go into the court saying all crimes are commercial, you don't understand. And the court knows that you don't understand. This is exactly why I brought up 26 1.1232 dash 1 bonds and other evidence of indebtedness. Okay. So if you don't understand that, then you're not going to understand 27 out of 11 CFR. So you're just going to read it and say all crimes are commercial. No, what makes the crimes commercial is because of the tax. So if you read under 27.11 CFR, under definition, it says commercial crimes. Any of the following types of crimes, federal or state, offenses against the revenue laws. Now you might say, okay, what that means that they go through here and they don't tell you, even if you read all the crimes, it doesn't tell you that all crimes are commercial or all crimes are commercial or like it doesn't tell you that all crimes are commercial. You have to read into it more because you'll say, okay, where's murder? Where's this? Where's that at? And it doesn't say it. So it says burglary, counterfeiting, forgery, kidnapping, larceny, robbery, illegal sale or possession of deadly weapons, prostitution, including solicitation, procuring, pandering, white slaving, keeping a house of ill fame, and like offenses, extortion, swindling, and confidence gain, and attempting to conspiring to commit, or compounding any of these foregoing crimes. Addiction to narcotic drugs and marijuana will be treated as if such were a commercial crime. So people read this and they'll say, "See, all crimes are commercial." There's a lot of crimes that this left out. Okay, like abuse, physical abuse and all kind of things. So this left out a lot of stuff. Well, where I did my video where I'm bringing up talking about it's all a tax or what's the name of the video? Court cases are just tax cases. In that video, I'm trying to show you the element of 27 out of 11 CFR that makes these crimes commercial crimes. So a lot of times what people do is they parrot stuff they hear, but they don't have deep understanding. That's why I try to give people understanding of what you're reading. So you don't just, parrot what you read and you actually have some level of cognitive understanding to it. So what makes all crimes commercial is not 27 out of 11 CFR. What makes them all commercial is the fact that they're all evidence of indebtedness. So if you understand what evidence of indebtedness is, that just means that there's an evidence that a debt exists. And if you understand that there's evidence that a debt exists, it becomes a tax. Okay. So prima facie evidence is how the court gets so-called jurisdiction. So you have to understand what prima facie evidence is. So prima facie evidence is Latin for at first sight. Okay, prima facie may be used as an adjective meaning sufficient to establish a fact or to raise a presumption unless disproved or rebutted. This is where you hear stuff like an affidavit stands the truth in commerce. Well, why? Because you're dealing in debts. You see what I'm saying? So people be saying stuff, they don't even know what they say. They just be parroting and regurgitating stuff, but they don't understand the deep meaning behind it, because you have to understand this if you're writing the courts, if you're writing a debt collector, you have to understand this. So if you don't, they're going to take it as, oh, you're just writing stuff and it don't have any weight to it. As an example of this would be the use of the term prima facie evidence. So people say minimum context. No, they have to have prima facie evidence to get minimum context. Okay. So it may also be used as an adverb, meaning on first appearance, but subject to further evidence or information. An example of this would be to use the term prima facie valid. A prima facie case is an establishment of a legal requirement, rebuttable presumption. See? A prima facie case is a cause of action or a defense that is sufficiently established by a party's evidence to justify a verdict in his or her favor, provided such evidence is not rebutted by the other party. Okay? So when people are telling you minimum context is how they get into court, you got to file all this secured party creditor bullshit instead of just dealing with the damn case. If a police officer said you were speeding and the police officer didn't put any evidence in a court to prove that you were speeding, then you have to object. Okay? If you just keep going forward in the case, you agreeing. You don't have nothing on the record to show you objected, and then you get into court, you try to file all kind of 1099 OIDs, all kind of 56 forms, all kinds. You don't understand court. So application. Various torts will typically have prima facie cases attached to them. A plaintiff would typically need to prove that a defendant has met all components of prima facie tort case in order to prove the defendant committed that tort. Okay? So these are the elements of proving a prima facie case. For example, the tort of trespass has a prima facie case with 3 components. Now, remember, for the person that did a consultation with me, remember what I was talking about trespassing in court. Okay? The defendant has the intent to evade the land. The defendant evaded the land. The plaintiff possessed the land and did not consent to the defendant's invasion. See, if you understand this, you can defeat any prima facie case that's brought against you. If the plaintiff is not able to prove one of the components, then the court will likely find that the tort did not occur. Okay, so then they leave some cases down here to help you further understand the establishment of defending these cases. Take a look at Bell Atlantic Corp versus Twombly, 550 US 554, 2007. Look at these cases, okay, and then read the judge's opinion in these cases. This is just, it's always good. Like, I don't get into case law too tough because I don't need it. But, I still read case law to help me, have a better understanding. And remember, the understanding comes from within. It doesn't come from without. You're trying to unlock yourself when you're reading. You're not really trying to look for answers. You're trying to unlock the wisdom within yourself because you already have everything you need to win everything. So I just wanted to make this clear, and I'm not coming at anybody or anything. When you read this, you have to understand that 27.11 doesn't just state all crimes. All crimes where there's prima facie evidence, there is a tax that is owed. So once the evidence of indebtedness is proved, there's a tax. That's why this shows, and this is why I showed you this, 26 CFR. I'm not going to go over the numbers again. It shows you bonds and other evidence of indebtedness, scope of the section. So if you go into this section, it tells you that these bonds, it goes through all of these requirements for obligations to be capital assets, etc. So I'm going to go ahead and end this, but I just wanted y'all to know that, because a lot of times people say stuff, but they don't have the knowledge behind it. So you always want to have the knowledge of why 27.11 CFR makes crimes commercial. It doesn't make crimes commercial because the statute, it makes crimes commercial because the all crimes or all um, traffic violations ordinances are revenue offenses. So that's why they give you 30 days to get into court. And some days they'll give you 26, depending on what it is. But most of the time it's 30 days because after 30 days, it becomes a tax debt. And I might have to look up some more law to bring that to you to show you that. But yeah, after 30 days, you're in default. So once you're in default, you have to be able to clear it. And that's why you're going to court. I'm out.